Dragon Ball XenoVerse is the 15th Dragon Ball console game since the original Budokai, also developed by Dimps, and we've come a long way from the 1v1 2.5D battles of the early games. For me, this latest game is the best yet for a myriad of reasons that I will get into later. There was one thing that I loved about the first Budokai games that has been taken as a central premise for this title, and that is the what-if scenarios, where you play out popular Dragon Ball Z events with different conditions or outcomes. XenoVerse has incorporated this element using time travel. Every Dragon Ball fan knows the sagas and the result of the best battles from the show or the manga. But now the bad guys are being buffed, or recruiting unexpected help, thanks to the game's antagonist providing a strange power that you have been selected to combat. That's right, it's your lucky day. Time Patrol Trunks wished Shenlong, the Eternal Dragon, for an ally strong enough to help, and your character was teleported to the new Toki Toki City as the best possible choice, so good luck.
I would really appreciate your help.
Back to borrowing from the old games, XenoVerse has taken a page out of Ultimate Tenkaichi, and you create your own character. But here the customization feels even deeper, with many options spanning the 5 races that you can play as. Saiyans, humans, Namekians, Margin, descendants of Buu, and Frieza's race. Along with the race, customizations on offer are height, weight, voice, hair, eyes, nose, mouth, and gender. Well, not gender for Frieza's race, but that has always been a bit ambiguous. Dragon Ball game fans are used to items and custom skills for boosting character stats in combat, and such additions are present in this game. In fact, there is so much to find, earn, or buy that there are practically endless combinations to try out. So make sure that your player fights in the best way to suit your playstyle. Remember to give a good read of the race descriptions because the starting bonuses are very important to get you through the early game. Ah yes, the early game. I started this game twice to see how different races perform, and the differences are noticeable enough to warrant multiple playthroughs. Battles for the first few hours are stupidly easy, which is a blessing considering the fact that there are so many controls to consider. If you haven't played a Dragon Ball fighting game recently, then you're in for a painful learning experience. For instance, holding down one of the shoulder buttons gives you a new option for each of the standard 4 face buttons, and holding down a second shoulder button with that one gives you another different set of inputs. Each set is customizable, so again your fighter will eventually perform better to your will. Something that also struck me was that the input to ascend was X, yet to fly down you have to click in the left stick. Guarding in particular I found quite confusing too. You can either jump out of the way of an attack with the X button, or one of the shoulder buttons and the X button, or block with L1. Neither was perfect for most situations, and I took a lot of damage to learn what kind of defense to use against which attack. And thus my learning experience began.
Go easy on me, Dad!
I do own the previous game, Battle of Z, on the PlayStation Vita, so I'm used to the fantastic open 3D worlds that you fight in, but the controls were slightly different. I've been playing the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Still, I knew enough to be able to breeze through the start of XenoVerse. One thing that the full 3D maps allow is for you to take a lot more strategy into a fight. Despite your instinct telling you, it's a Dragon Ball game, get in there and get the key combos in quickly. There's also a lot to be gained from holding back and choosing your fights and where to approach from. Some fights are harder close up and some harder when you use your key attacks. Even if you lose a fight, you get a little experience in Zeni, the in-game currency, but more importantly you take away the knowledge of how your opponent beat you and what you need to improve next time. To help beef up your character between the main time missions, the game has many options for side quests, from directly registering for a new parallel quest to the array of multiplayer matches on offer. Some quests take place over many different arenas. Some have just one opponent, others have hundreds. There are even training quests where a popular character from Dragon Ball becomes your master and you progress up their quest tree until you learn their ultimate move, which is an assist you can call into any battle.
I know how strong you are already.
The game's first DLC is dropping less than a month after release, featuring Dragon Ball GT characters, as well as extra quests, attacks, and costumes. More of this kind of content is planned for release, so there will be plenty more to do when you finish the game, to keep you coming back. A problem I had with older Dragon Ball games, with the exception of Raging Blast, is that once the fights have been fought, there isn't much incentive to do it again. And as the sagas have been constantly repeated year after year, It is refreshing that XenoVerse can give us new content thanks to its time travel setting, even if the new content is simply alternate versions of previous battles. This is definitely a title where I will be interested in a season pass to extend the life of the game.
I'll end this now!
Dragon Ball XenoVerse seems to have the widest array of quests the Dragon Ball games have seen recently, and with the multiplayer experience being held as highly as the single player, there is always something to have fun with when you switch on this title. Hampered only by a dizzying number of controls at first, and a steep learning curve if you fail to get your teeth into the deep RPG-style customizations, every fight is still a lot of fun, each one feeling as intense as the best of the TV show and the films. I give this game a 7-star Dragon Ball out of 8. Better than its predecessor and a story more compelling and original than most games in the series.
Don't you dare talk about Krillin!
Thanks for watching this review. You can catch more Kilobits action at the YouTube page. Just click the subscribe button there and please leave a thumbs up for this video. You can find us over on Facebook, facebook.com/thekilobits, and Twitter, twitter.com/thekilobits. I'll be Super Saiyan you later.